time for the Johto League. So the Johto League will be going the same as Ash will be using his Kanto Team to wipe everybody out. And then, but he had this very hard battle, but he managed to defeat him. So in 3 days, he will be facing Gary. So Ash went to go train his Pokemon. As Professor Oak called him as Professor Oak thought Ash should use different Pokemon this time. As Ash thought, he said sure. As Ash was going to use Charizard, Dragonite, Primeape, Bayleaf, Scizor, and Snorlax. As Gary was looking at all Ash's battle, he remembered that Ash wasn't the little boy as he used to be. So Gary used his strongest Pokemon, Blastoise, Arcanine, Nidoking, Scizor, his Umbreon, his newest Pokemon Umbreon, and his Magmar. As they were about to start, he wasn't a little kid as he used to be, as this time he will beat Gary. As they stared at same look at each other, Ash sent out his Primeape. As Gary started the battle off with his Scizor. Gary told Scizor to use Metal Claw, but Ash told Primeape to use Mega Punch. It was a clash, but Metal Claw had beat Primeape. Primeape got blasted away as Primeape jumped up and used the Mega Kick. He hit Scizor to the ground and then grabbed and pinned Scizor down to the ground, and then Ash told me to use Focus Punch. Scizor was damaged. Gary told Scizor to hit the ground using Metal Claw. This had broke the ground as Primeape lost his feeding. Gary told Scizor to use X-Scissor. This had hit Primeape and Primeape had fainted. Ash told Primeape to return as he said, how about Scizor to Scizor? As Ash told his Scizor. They both used X-Scissor and they were flying around. They had a clash. Gary's Scizor used Metal Claw, but Ash told his Scizor to dodge all of it, go under Gary's Scizor and use Bullet Punch. This had worked as Gary's Scizor had fainted. Ash got so excited as he said, told you, Gary, I'm not a little kid anymore. And then Ash told Scizor to return. But Scizor didn't want to go back, as he wanted to keep battling. As Gary laughed and said, that's a pretty stubborn Scizor you have. Then Gary sent out his Doug Trio. He told his Doug Trio to use Drill Peck. Scizor got hit. Scizor was already damaged from battling Gary's Scizor. As Ash told Scizor to use X-Scissor. Dugtrio jumped and dodged it and then used Drill Peck again. Scizor had fainted. Ash told Scizor to return and sent out his beefiest Pokemon, Snorlax. Ash told Snorlax to stand right there. As they used Drill Peck, he told him to hit him up using Ice Punch. This had worked. Dugtrio got sent up to the air, and then when they was coming down, Snorlax used Hyper Beam. Dugtrio had fainted. Then Gary sent out his Nidoking. And then Nidoking charged at Snorlax, and they were clashing as they were both beefy Pokemon. They both used Hyper Beam, and a close-on Hyper Beam as it boomed. They both got blasted away. They both jumped up as Gary's Nidoking used Mega Punch. Ash's Snorlax used Ice Punch. They both hit each other. They both got hit to the ground, and they were both badly damaged. They both used Hyper Beam again, but this time it didn't clash, as they both missed each other and they both got hit, as they both fainted. It was a double knockout, as Ash didn't have his Scizor, his Snorlax, and his Primeape, as Gary didn't have his Primeape. Ash had lost his Primeape, Snorlax, and Scizor, as Gary had lost his Nidoking, Scizor, and Dugtrio. They both had 3 Pokemon left, as Ash sent out his Bayleaf. And Gary sent out his Magmar. He told his Magmar to use Fire Blast. As Ash told Bayleaf to dodge it and use Vine Whip and grab Magmar. This worked. As Bayleaf swung and swung and swung and swung Magmar around and hit him dead to the ground. But, Fire type has the advantage, as he used Flamethrower. Bayleaf was getting pushed to the rocks, as Ash believed in Bayleaf, as Bayleaf looked at Ash and then evolved into, and then she slammed him into the ground. Magmar got up and used Fire Blast, and Magmar dodged it and used Petal Dance and hit Magmar. Magmar was damaged from Magmar's new evolved power. Ash got so excited for Magmar, as he said, "Yeah, Magmar, show him what it is, and use Solar Beam." Magmar used the strongest Solar Beam. This I hit Magmar, but Magmar captured it with Fire Blast. Ash believed in Magmar, as he said, "Use your full power. Use Solar Beam again. Use more Solar Beam." Gary was surprised by Ash's unthinking, as it hit Magmar and Magmar fainted. Magmar was badly damaged from Flamethrower and Fire Blast, as it fainted as well. But before it fainted, it gave out a loud roar. Ash told Magmar to return. Ash only had Dragonite and Charizard. Ash sent out his Dragonite, and Gary sent out his Arcanine. Arcanine charged at it using Quick Attack. Gary told it to use Double Edge. Dragonite took flight, but Arcanine jumped up and hit Dragonite back to the ground. Dragonite used, as Ash was waiting for Gary to give another command, as it used Flamethrower. He said, "Knew it," as he told it to use Hurricane on itself as a barrier. Gary was still surprised of his unthinking, as the fire wrapped around the Hurricane. Ash told it to send it right back at Arcanine. This I hit Arcanine, and then as it had a strong Dragonite charging at him using Thunder Punch, he hit Arcanine down to the ground. They both was looking at each other with a smirk, as Gary used Double Edge and Ash used Dragon Claw. Dragonite hit Arcanine, but Arcanine hit him as well. Arcanine shot a Flamethrower to the ground as it counted up and hit Dragonite. And then out of nowhere, Arcanine was in the air using Ember. Gary said, "That's the stuff," as Dragonite was getting pushed back. I said, "I believe in you, Dragonite. Go!" As Dragonite broke through and spinned and spinned and spinned and spinned, as Ash told it to use. Ash told it to use use a hurricane barrier. Hurricane barrier. Ash was going to use the hurricane barrier as an attack this time. As he hit jumped the floating Arcanine dead to the ground and followed it up with Thunder Punch. Arcanine had fainted. Gary was scared that he might lose, but he clenched his fist and said, "Blastoise, my strongest Pokemon, come on out!" As he told Blastoise to not take any damage. Dragonite charged down using Thunder Punch, a super effective move. Gary told Blastoise to dodge it as Dragonite crashed to the ground, and then as Dragonite looked at as Blastoise used Hydro Pump, but Dragonite had fainted. Ash told Dragonite that he did a very good job, as he only had one more Pokemon left, his Charizard. His Charizard knew Seismic Toss, Thunder Punch, Flamethrower. Ash's Charizard knew Dragon Claw, Flamethrower, Air Slash, and Seismic Toss. Ash told Charizard to grab Blastoise, but Blastoise wasn't going to let that happen as he used Hydro Pump. And then Ash used Flamethrower. It was a class battle, but Hydro Pump won. Ash told Charizard to dodge it, and then used Dragon Claw. He hit Blastoise, but it barely did any damage. As Ash said, that was just my plan. As he told Charizard to grab him and throw him to the ground. He grabbed him and slammed him around, and then he threw him up in the air, and then Ash told him to use his Air Slash. Blastoise got hit. As Gary told Blastoise to use Rapid Spin and use Hydro Pump at the same time. It was a spinning Hydro Pump. As Gary said, "See, I can be creative as well, Ashy boy." Ashy said, "Yeah, but I'm more creative. As he told him to use Dragon Claw and Spin. As he deflected Hydro Pump. As he kept on going forward and forward, Ash told Charizard to use Flamethrower and burn Blastoise. Blastoise got hit. As Blastoise got up, Ash told to use Seismic Toss. So as he spinned in the air, he threw Blastoise down. As he said, follow it up with Air Slash. As he was falling down, Charizard also using Air Slash. He hit the ground as he also got hit by Air Slash. Charizard flew to the ground as Blastoise was trying to get up as it fainted. Ash got so excited as he said, "Yeah, I finally beat Gary." As Gary clapped his hand and said, "Way to go, Ashy boy." As he said, "I appreciate your Pokemon. You are a very strong Pokemon trainer." And they both gave each other a high five. Okay, guys, this is the end of the video. Peace. You know what to do. Subscribe.